thinking we just went live at 11:05. You could have stepped over a little bit and at least showed them no harm this time. We're live at 11:05, and we have we're trying a little different here today. I'm BC. This is Spirit Cars, and Josh, the voice of Spirit Cars, is not behind the camera today. He's actually a little bit farther behind it. He set his phone up on the desk, and he's back at his desk there at the computer. So he should be able to see. Are you logged in? Can you see if people are asking? Or
Yes.
so if you want to say hi, if you say hi, we can say hi back to you. We should know what's going on live. And what we're going to do today is we're going to just do a Q&A. Just ask some questions. And are these little lines going on the bottom of this? What is that saying? This is the first time I've got to see what's actually going on. I'm actually see myself here. It's amazing. So we're here, we're live, and we're Spirit Cars. Been around for a while. We've been around since 1994, I believe. Spirit was incorporated. Got a body shop and been doing cars and building cars. My brother still has BC Auto Body in Wheaton, Illinois, that I started when I was in high school. So that was a long time ago. That would have been 1974. So been doing this a long time. We're here in Flippin, Arkansas. We've moved to our new facility. It's a nice facility we have here. We were in Mountain Home for 2 or 3 different facilities, and now we've moved here. Got bigger every time. Josh didn't put all the phones on on hold, so you may hear some background phones, but we can deal with that. So what do? We build cars. We've been trying to figure out what it is that we do. What do we really focus on? And I think what we do is we build kit cars for you to basically build at home and experience building your own car. We give you the fundamental parts and pieces. We do a lot of other things also, but I think that would be the focus of the company, and especially the focus of this Live at 11:05 program, and what our relationship would be to each other in this program. So what do you have? Any questions? Give me some questions there,
Yep.
Josh.
Do you install noise and sound insulation in the coupe bodies, or is it an option?
Well, it's an option. I mean, we're doing one out there now with some sound deadener. There's different brands, and some of it's pretty expensive. And somebody just told me about a product that Lowe's has that does a real good job. So I'm going to check that out. And all it is like if you remember the old days of Dum Dum, it's like a Dum Dum with a sticky back to it. You can put on it, and it's got a foil front a lot of times. And it does help a lot. You can tell if you stick your head in a car, a coupe or something like that, and you're just talking, and then you stick your head in the same car that's had the sound deadener put in it. It's got a real, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a muffled sound, but it doesn't have an echo to it. It does a good job. It helps. Now, you do have to remember we are building hot rods here. You're looking for a little bit of that exhaust noise and a little bit of that feel, and I always say it's a hot rod. It's not a Lexus. If you want that ride, you know, that's not what you're going to get, but it's a lot of fun.
Next question. What engines and transmissions does your team have most experience with, and which you prefer, a 350 small block or a 289 Ford? Now, I better be careful.
Well, I don't have to be careful, and hopefully everybody can hear these questions that Josh is asking, so you may need to speak up a little bit if I'm, maybe make a note on the thing. If you're not hearing Josh, let him know, but I mean, it's hands down, it's a Chevy. What do you think? We probably do 90% Chevys.
Yes, we do.
Is that a good estimate? I'm just watching from the shop, but of the Chevys, I would say 95% of those are small block 350s. You know, and you could get there's a lot of small block Chevys of that pattern that'll fit the same motor mounts. And a big block is the same motor mounts and transmission mounts. If you've got a 400 behind it, or a 350 turbo, or a 750 or 700 R4 bolted, whether it be the back of a small block Chevy or big block Chevy, it'll all be the same motor mounts. the thing in the big block, you need a little bit more room in the front. It's just a little closer to the radiator. The Fords, we got what, C4 and C6 jigs,
Yes, we do.
and we can do 351, 302. What jigs do we have for the
We have
Fords?
a flathead,
We can do a flathead Ford.
302, and a 351.
Yeah, with the C4, C6, I mean, those are all in our jig tables. And if you have a motor that is a little bit, and I'm not going to say oddball, but not one that's used as frequently as the Chevy 350. The parts are cheap for it, it's been around and it works. So that's kind of the way it is there. The way we do it, and of course we've got some foam blocks here too, which help. But if someone has a motor combination, trans combination that they want in their car, we'll build the frame, we'll build everything, get it set up to the ride height, and then actually put that in there with the engine hoist, leave the trans to it, and kind of position that motor where it goes. I remember you want a 3-degree angle with it going back, and if you look at the carburetor plate and put a level on the carburetor plate, that'll generally give the angle of your motor what you want. And then we build the motor mounts right to that. The motor mounts for our small block, what are they? It's an old style like Chevelle from the 60s, real clean looking one. So what are those?
I thought they were Nova. I just know the part number from the
What is the part? It's for multiple cars. It's a Nova also. What is the part number?
Napa part number is a 602-1106.
Hey, there he is. And do you hear that? That's Josh the man. What is it? I can't even remember. You just said 602.
602-1106.
602-1106 is a Napa part number.
O'Reilly's is 2267.
O'Reilly's 2267. There's other parts stores and they interchange with each other, but it's a clean looking motor mount. And a lot of times what we've done and tried to do is sometimes if it's designed for the hot rod industry and just built specifically for that, you're spending a lot more money than if you can take something like we use GM calipers for the front, GM rotors. It's parts store items. The price is pretty reasonable compared to, and I'm not taking down Wilwood or anything like those. Those are really awesome brakes, but they're expensive, and replacing them is expensive also. So it's what you want to do when it comes to that. What else you got for questions there?
Okay. We have Tom would like to have a suggestion.
Tom Tinsley?
Tom Kraus.
Tom Kraus. Hey Tom, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
How about 1105 on hand lane fiberglass? Just about everybody does these cars will end up doing some glass work.
Well, if you looked at, we did about, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? All of a sudden it popped up, congratulations on your 100th show. That's a lot of 1105s. And if you go down on our Facebook page, Josh has done a pretty good job of titling them what we're doing. I know we have done hand laid and fiberglass a couple different times. Robert Rowland's car, way cool car. It's in Vegas. I think we did a lot of hand laid on that car, so it might be titled.
I'll find it and I'll post it on here.
Okay, so Josh is going to post it on that, or we'll try to do that. But yes, we will do that again. These are definitely not scripted shows, and they're not. We've never done a TV show. We've been approached, but it's never been a desire for us to have a 13-week scripted, have to do this and go there. What you get is pretty much what's going on for the day, and I have some production I got to get done. We've got the two Larrys that are anxiously waiting, and we're kind of doing their cars as they go, but there's a lot of other cars that we're doing that we never even mentioned that have to go out the door. So anyway, what was the question again? We will do fiberglass again, and we may do that pretty soon.
Mark says good morning.
Good morning, Mark. Afternoon, depends where you're at. It's lunchtime here. 11 o'clock, we eat lunch.
Why did you quit going to shows?
I'm old. um, you know, I used to go to shows probably, what do you think? I would be gone
Every week.
30 weekends a year. And it would be from Daytona to Detroit to Chicago to Phoenix to, so I mean we went all over and especially if we did the winter series with the World of Wheels guys, awesome guys, and I mean we're coming to a place that Tom and JR they're no longer even with us, the promoters for some of the biggest World of Wheels shows. So anyway, doing those shows, we would do it, we're almost like entertainment. We would do a publicity stunt car build, and I would have to do that 3 times a weekend. So, no, 5 times a weekend. Twice on Friday, twice on Saturday, and once on Sunday. And I really enjoyed it. It's like being in a carnival, and you really get relationships with the people that are all over the place, and the other vendors you get to know, and you're at the next show with them, and we're busy, and it was a lot of stress on getting it done, and the same with the Buckethead Bash and all that kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun and a lot of distraction for what we do. So even on that, we are highly supportive of one show. It's a little show here in Flippin. It's awesome. It's at the end of the year. What is it? It's what is Labor Day? Is that end of the year? Weekend after Labor Day?
Yes.
Okay, so, and we used to do, for the first couple of years, we did an open house here and a big meal on Friday, and the show was Saturday, and we haven't done that for a while. But I'm trying to pitch it. I'm pitching to you guys that we do an open house again for Spirit, and it will be that weekend, and we're going to do a Friday open house, cookout, barbecue. I just got to get approval from the big wigs in the office. So if we want to do that this year, we'll do that. And I have been a little anxious. I do love it. I used to be a musician. I mean, it was being on the road and doing the setup and the tear down, and the whole thing was almost as, I was into it as much as actually being up there for that 20 minutes or a couple hours on stage or whatever. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed meeting so many people and developed relationships. It was just great. And we can ramble to another question, I guess.
How many different bodies do you offer?
I'll forget some, but let's start with the 23. We started with the 23 regular. So we've taken the 23 regular with, now you got a regular one with 1 door. You got one with no doors, and you got one with 2 doors. You got a regular with a turtle deck, you got one with a bed, you got one with no bed. So we got our 23 XLT. So we extended that an extra 4 inches in the same options, 1 door, 2 doors, turtle deck, pickup box. We've got an extended pickup box, a 4-foot pickup box. We do a 27. So our 27 has 2 doors and a working deck lid with a lip in it. We also have a 27 that has no working doors and no working deck lid.
We have a 27 with no insert but working doors and a deck lid.
We have a 27. So there's multiple ways to do the 27. We've got a 27 back there now that we do a 27 with a flat floor that will fit on top of a chassis will have a fender package that was a modified version of a Model A, running boards and everything. It's pretty cool. We've actually got one in the shop right now. So there's a couple versions of that. So we got the 27, we got the C cab. We got a 23 C cab. And that's probably where we're at on the T's. We went into the A's. We got a 2829 Model A coupe. I'm sorry, yeah. We got a 5-window coupe. And we got 2829 sedan. And we got 2829 sedan delivery. We got a 3031 5-window coupe, 3031 sedan, and a 3031 sedan delivery. And we now have a 2829 Model A Roadster. We have done especially the 2829, we have made a floor for a 32 rails, and the floor is actually swoopy and it fits right on it. And so you can do the highboy look, and when you order it, it just fits on it, ready to go. Also, the 2829, we've done a thing called the A-Rod, and that's our version of You can put that, it's slammed down, it's channeled 3 inches, and it fits right on top of a 27 chassis. I mean, our stock 27 chassis, you can put a 28, 29 A-rod, we call it, right on there, bolts on. It's a little bit cheaper way to go, but it doesn't make the car look cheaper. It's just a Model 8 chassis and frame. It's just a little more expensive. And we do a 32 3-window. We do a 32 5-window and a 32 Roadster, of course. Everybody does that. And then we have our 33, 34 3-window Ford. Am I missing anything? Then we have different versions of those. So
Go-kart.
yeah, we have go-karts. We have several. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna. Can you see it in the background? I don't know if you can see my little go-kart there, but I don't know if you can see down. But this is kind of my version of a 32, a little mini go-kart, kind of overkill on the motor. But we got a model here, a T-bucket, mini T. It's pretty cool. And we've been saying for 10 years that we were going to do kits with those. And when you ask why I don't go on the shows, there's just so much going on here. And I may, when the grandbabies get a little bigger and I can take them with, we may do that. We may do the whole circus again. Anything else?
Yes. Can I install a big block in one of your kits, and will your frame handle the horsepower?
Yes, it will. A lot of times somebody will say, oh, I'm building this car and it's going to be all this huge horsepower. Especially when we first started out, I was a little leery because it's one thing to get 300 or 400 horsepower out of an engine, but then, you know, if somebody says they're getting 800, 900 horsepower and more, that's significant, and it's not easy to do. But we have had cars that truly had the 900 plus horsepower engines in them. We use a 3/16 wall on our frame for the T. We're talking about the T, and we've, in my opinion, we've overkilled the frame a little bit. Not so much that it looks bulky and just big, but enough so that you will not twist the frame. If you put enough horsepower to the ground, something will break. That's the way it works. So with the rear ends we use, we generally use a 10-bolt Chevy rear end, which is really strong, and if you go through the whole drivetrain, what's going to break is probably going to be your tires loose from the pavement, and you'll do a big smoky burnout. And that's really, I don't think, in all that we've been doing this since, what I say, 94, I cannot think of one frame twist issue, any kind of issue like that we've ever had. So, yes, you can, they're glorified, especially in the T-bucket. It's nothing but a glorified engine stand. The bigger the better. Go for it.
Here's one. Do you offer paperwork with your kits?
Oh, okay. And we're ready for this question. I kind of thought we'd get it. And since I can see what I'm doing here, this will be good. I'm going to I'll give me a little pen pointer. I've got two things here. I've got a Spirit Certificate of Origin, and I'm just going to read a little bit of it on here and then show you. So this is our Spirit Certificate of Origin. You can kind of see that. I'll push that back up there. But what this is went to a customer. His name's already on it. But it has a serial number. It has the year, which is the 2000. This one is a 2016. This is just a copy of one. Make is a Spirit, and it's got the date, an invoice number, not in a series or model. It's a Model T. Then we got the weight is 2,000 pounds. It says body type pickup down here, and I'll actually read this to you real quick. This certificate represents the origin of the above automobile kit components, which include the frame, body, and accessories. The purchaser of this kit assumes full responsibility for the assembly of this kit and for compliance with all relevant federal, state, and local laws. It is further certified that this was the first transfer of such new vehicle in ordinary trade or commerce. So this would be a certificate of origin. Now if you go to the back of it, it can transfer. If you're actually, you got to be a car dealer, you just can't do it. So if you're a car dealer, you can fill it out, put your dealer number and transfer it and sell it to somebody else and go through without having to have new paperwork. So we have this. There's no charge for this. This comes with every one of our kits. All you need, like it said in there, you need to buy the basic kit from us: frame and suspension package and the body. Now, what we have here is an Arkansas title. This is the title you would get from Arkansas if you bought a brand new car in Arkansas. If you came to Arkansas with your car, if you moved here from Illinois and you came down with your car and you transferred your title from an Illinois title to an Arkansas title, this is what you get. Or even if you had an older Arkansas title previous to this one and sold your car and then turned that in to get it transferred to a new name, it would look like this. So this is a current Arkansas title, and we've worked with legislators, and I mean, we've done a lot of work so that we can do this. For us to be able to do this, also, we have to be a new car dealer. So we're a new car dealer in Arkansas and a used car dealer also, so we are that, although we don't mess with used cars or any product other than our own. So what do you have on this one? It says replica right on top twice. Replica, State of Arkansas. The certificate of origin has a serial number on it. We just make that number and put it on there. Now this has a vehicle identification number, a true VIN number. Spirit is a car manufacturer. We have our World Manufacturer Identifier number. The Society of Automotive Engineers contracts with the federal government to keep track of that, and so we went through them, and we've had it for a long time. So it's 1S9, and then the 14th is the first three, and the 14th, 15th, and 16th is our individual identifier number. In there, it's got the year the car was manufactured, and it's a 17-digit VIN number. So we have our vehicle identification number, the year. Now they call it a 1923 Ford. So the year is 1923, make is Ford, model, Model T, body type, PK, which stands for pickup. It says title number, so it's got a title number. Now that's Arkansas's title number. It says previous title number. There is none. It says MSO. So we took one of our MSOs, put one of our VIN numbers, a legitimate VIN number that the federal government would recognize, and sent it to the state. And the state has sent this title back to us. It says the date of issue, and it's got the unladen weight is 2,000 pounds. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a quick. You can see now this is the Arkansas title, just like it looks. So if we sell it, we'll sign off on it. But as soon as we sign off on it, it's no longer a new car because we've already registered it the first time. So once it becomes signed off, it's a used car, whether we drive it or not. And on the back of this, since we're a dealer, what we can do, we can transfer, and you can see there's a sale here and everything else. We can transfer it to whoever buys it. So if you're from Arkansas or if you're from wherever, it doesn't matter. We transfer that title just like we're the used car dealer. We sold you the used Spirit, even though you may not have any miles on it, and it transfers to your state. Every state is different. Just like every personality is different. You may have someone in the revenue office or the DMV or whoever you have to deal with to do titles that whoever you're dealing with is in charge. They're the one that pushes the pencil and does the thing, and they may not agree with the bureaucrats in their state. It doesn't matter, and the bureaucrats in your state may not agree with the legislators. It doesn't matter, and the legislators of your state may not agree with the federal government. It doesn't matter. But it generally goes pretty smooth. Certificate of origin is more difficult to title. What you'll have to do, you may have to have a bond, and you may have to have it inspected by the state police. You may, depending on your state. So the certificate of origin is free, and we do have a paperwork. We have some costs incurred on the title. So what do we charge for a title?
$199.
$199. Now, we're not selling you a title, and so don't call us up and ask, hey, I got all this parts and pieces I got somewhere, can you sell me a title? We don't do that. We can supply a Arkansas title with your kit, and when we don't do that until the car's done, do we?
So it's like buying a new or used car. You've only got a 30-day window.
Okay. So, and the way we handle that is, you don't get it with the paperwork when you first bought your car. What we ask is, once it is a car, a real car, painted and motor in it and you're ready to drive it. Send us some pictures and then we just immediately, I mean within, you know, a week, 2 weeks, how long do you usually take to get a title to somebody?
Usually goes right away unless we don't have one sitting here.
So within a couple of weeks, we can send you a title after your car is finished, so. Anyway, that's where we're at on the paperwork, and I've spent hours and hours and hours on the phone dealing with bureaucrats and in-face lobbying and politicking, and we could do a 3-hour story on just what it took to get our paperwork the way it is, but we don't want to do that.
How do you ship?
How do we ship? Lots of ways. Interestingly, I almost, in the beginning, we were building the cars and we're getting to the point where we build a car and we could sell them, and we could not get a shipping company that wanted to deal with us. And our shipping costs were outrageous, and I actually thought we weren't going to be able to succeed with the company because of the shipping issues. So we've resolved that, and I was in the office the other day, and Josh has got salespeople from different shipping companies now, you know, wanting our business. So we are very competitive in our shipping. It's very, in the United States, yeah, I could try to keep this brief, but in the United States is one of the only countries in the world where we have the class system. I mean, it depends what it is, and so everything is classed, and it's either class 85 or class 160 or, you know, whatever, and it gets more expensive based on what class it is. So I think we've got, it's not an exemption, but aren't we a single class shipper now? So it doesn't matter what's in the box, it all ships at a class 85 now?
No, 150.
So we ship everything at class 150, 85 is cheaper, but, so I guess it's a compromise, the expensive and the cheap goes together. And then we get a discounts, and so shipping, let's see, generally on a kit, say to California, we're in the middle of the country, say a 23 kit, body and all.
I just shipped one, a body and a frame, to a residence in California. It was about $950.
Okay, a body and a frame to a residence in California is $950. How much if that would have been to a business? $100 less?
$100 to $200 cheaper.
100 to 200 cheaper. And now California's way out there, so generally a kit's the average.
He was 2,200 miles from
That was
here.
2,000 miles away from here. So generally a kit going somewhere generally close, you know, within 10-hour circle. What? $600?
$600 probably.
Yeah, okay. So that's for a full kit. We do have a driver, Mike. We could do a whole 3-hour story on Mike. Every time he comes back, he's got stories. And he's out of Missouri. He's like a U-ship kind of guy, and we call him, and he makes arrangements, especially on turnkey cars or a full kit, something maybe we've assembled and put the wheels or put some wooden wheels on it for you so it'll roll. He charges $1. What's it? $1 something a mile?
$1.25.
$1.25 a mile.
He can get something to go with it, about $1 a mile.
Yeah. If he can get something to go with it, $1 a mile, and then you know he's got to get something there to move to here and there. So, and we've been using Mike for a long time. We've got a great relationship. Very conscientious. He hasn't lost any of our cars on the way there yet, or tipped any over. So that's very helpful when he gets there. You know, help you unload it and get it where you want it, and make sure you're happy, and take care of any issues if there is issues or what have you. So Mike is a good option too sometimes. I heard Josh talking about a claim we just had the other day. We've been pretty good about if there is a claim, able to get it taken care of, and we work through that process with you. These are all big kits. Otherwise, we ship FedEx or UPS.
Yeah, or post office.
Yeah, post office, USPS, whichever's cheaper. So, again, like a go-kart body, sometimes you're on the borderline of it's cheaper to go freight than it is to go USPS when you're talking about oversizes. So, and we'd love if you come pick it up. That's always the best. You can come visit, and that's an excuse for me to maybe take somebody to lunch on the company dime. And but anyway, we'd love to have you come pick up stuff too, and give you a shop tour or what have you. So that's that.
Next question, do you have shop tours? You just answered that.
Oh, that was the next question. Do we have shop tours? Yes, we do. We're not open on Saturdays, but if you're, I want to word this carefully. We love to show it to everybody, whether you're here to spend money or not. That's not the issue. At some point, I mean, we've had people come and say, I can't afford one, I never will, but can I show my kids in that? We'd love to show you the shop. That's not the issue. We can come and meet you on Saturday, but we're not open on Saturdays, so don't just plan a weekend event and say, well, I want to go on Saturday because we're going through. But if you've been looking at cars and really interested, Saturday is okay. We can meet you down here, and we can meet you down here to pick up cars too and stuff like that on Saturday. Otherwise, during the week, generally, I mean, it's convenient if we know you're coming, and if you just show up, we'll take you around, but you may be part of the process. You may be, hey, give us a hand, lift this up over here because we got to move this, and so you'll be dealing with the guys as they're dealing with today, and Josh, same thing. He, if you come in here, he's usually on the phone, and he spends. How much time do you really spend on the phone a day? You think a 30 a day for real with the phone stuck in your ear? Then there's a chat device somehow on the computer where if you go on our website, you can chat with him. I come in here, there's a little ding that makes, I constantly hear the computer ding, ding, ding. And then emails and the Facebook stuff, he answers those. So he's pretty constantly in the office. We're lucky to even see him in the shop a couple times a day, and one of those is live at 11:05. So come on down, we'd love to see you. And the show and flipping. I'm really pushing, we do an open house, and we'll have a date for that and promo it, and maybe get back to maybe the days of doing, we're not going to call it the Buckethead Bash again, but just have a time where we can have an open house with our friends and family.
Here's one you'll like. I have an S10 frame. Can I install one of your bodies on my frame?
An S10 frame and a Spirit body, no. I mean, you can do anything you want to make it work, but look at the big picture of what you're doing. You may not want to keep your car indefinitely. So you want your car to have the most value that it can. If you build a nice T-bucket, I mean, we have built turnkey cars for customers that they have had for 2, 3, 4 years and actually sold for more money than they paid for it. And the same, if you build a nice car out of your shop at home, and there's some great cars being built all over the country out of garages. So don't be intimidated because you don't have a big shop. When that car is done, a quality car is a quality car, and it demands a much better price. Where if a car has just kind of been put together and it looks like it's just been kind of hacked together, it doesn't have a lot of value, and really you have to try to sell it. Where a nice car, you don't have to try to sell. Everybody wants it. You just need to find the person with the money that can buy it. So, can it be done? I suppose what I would highly, highly, highly recommend against doing it. Possibly, if you wanted to put a full-body Model A or something on it, you could work around that. But be prepared to do a lot of chassis changes, cutting and whacking and doing it. Here's how bad we had I'll make this a quick story. Guy shows up with a truck chassis on a trailer, and Josh didn't know it was this story, and he wanted us to put a T-bucket on. No, we can't. He wanted us to do this. No, we can't. And he finally wore me down. He came from another state and just showed up. We didn't know he was coming. He said, "Here's the thing. I want something on it." And he wore me down. I finally got the tape measure out, start measuring our bodies, and I think I could make a 32 work. I started that project. It was the worst nightmare. I mean, it looked really, really good when we were done, but I had to cut the frame and extend it in one place. Then I had to cut it in another place and shrink it up so I can get it to look right. Then I had to try to make it swoopy on the ends to look like a hot rod. I had to take our 32, once I got it in there, I had to cut that thing smack down the length of it, and I widened it, what I widened it about?
6 inches.
I widened it 6 inches. I mean, down the smack down the length of the car, and then, which meant I had to widen the deck lid, and then we had a roll cage, and so it turned into a really nice car, and it looked cool. I mean, it looked low and squat, and it was wide, and it was a cool looking car. It didn't look like a contraption, but my goodness, it was a job and a half. So be prepared for that. If you want to just make it work to another chassis, well, it's not a beginner project, I'll just say that.
Why is my car leaning one way or the other?
Your car is leaning one way or another. Okay, I won't say it could be because you're a big boy. We won't go there. But generally, if your car is just sitting there and it's going to lean one way or another, and it's got radius rods on it, front and rear, or just front, it doesn't matter. When you put your radius rods, say from the front axle, you got your axle together, your radius rod's on, your spring is bolted to the spring perch, and you've come back and you've got the bracket on the bottom of the frame, and the radius rod end is right there, and you can put the bolt in, and all right, so I've got my left side hooked up. Now if I go over to my right side, and if my radius rod is like a little low or a little high, it's pretty easy for me to push that down just a little bit, put the bolt in, and ta-da, it's in. Or I can pull it up a little bit and put the bolt in. But if I do that, I've just turned the entire frame into a torsion bar. And it's going to push it one way or the other. So if you have that issue, go to the very front, because you got one rod end in the back and you got two clevises in the front. Either make one clevis come out farther to make it go down or drive one in to make it come up a little bit, or whatever. But adjust that so that both bolts go directly in. It is probably not, and that's the first thing you're going to think it is your coilover shocks aren't adjusted the same, or something's wrong in your shocks. It's probably not that. It's probably your radius rods. So that's most of the time that'd be the cure of that.
Why do I choose Spirit cars over another manufacturer?
Why do you choose Spirit over somebody else? How much time have we been on doing this?
40 minutes.
40 minutes? Oh my goodness. So this will be our final question, and this is look at us, aren't we cool? So I'll keep it kind of brief. Why do you want to choose Spirit? We really try to have customer relationships that are positive and long term, and nothing ever goes perfect. And so there are times when there'll be an issue or something like that, and nobody's perfect. We will work through those issues until they're resolved. And our number one goal is to have a happy customer. And our customers are our best salespeople. If you look at Spirit from the big picture, you don't see us advertising. I think we advertise on one website, and that's more just helping to sponsor the website so that it's a T-Bucket related website. But we don't have a big advertising budget. We're not trying to lure people in to make the quick sale. Our relationships are what really help us sell. When I did go on the shows on the road, what was really awesome, I could go to, whether it be in Texas and somebody down there was one of our past customers. They'd work the booth, they'd work it harder than I would. So word of mouth is really good for us, and we try to work on that. As far as our product, I think I can say this, and I can say it with a lot of confidence. We have the most thoroughly engineered and complete kit on the market. We don't just build the parts and pieces. There's some of our competitors do that. They build the parts and pieces and build very few turnkeys. The turnkey part of what we do is really not the focus of our business. It really helps us engineer. So if we've got a couple pieces and there's a problem with it, we see that because we're trying to put it together. And then when we solve that problem, we move it back, right back into manufacturing, solve the issue before it even gets back to the build side again. And then next time, you know, the bolt goes right where it does, or whatever the issue might be. The hinge fits better, or you know, whatever design changes there. So again, I believe we have the most thoroughly engineered kit, and we really are striving for quality. Our guys here, we're not striving for quantity. We're really striving that we do a quality part, quality piece, best of our ability, and that's not going to change. I don't see that changing. It's a family business, and it's not corporate driven by a dividend or a profit there. Although we do need to survive, and maybe one of the biggest reasons to buy from Spirit is right here. As far as I know, we are the only company doing what we do that is really taking the effort to be a car manufacturer, which helps you get your car. We're not building yard art here. We're building cars we want to drive down the highway. So if you can't get a title and that becomes an issue, that's the last thing you need. So we're there. We're at the end of our 40-minute show. That's a lot of time. If you've made it here for 40 minutes, I appreciate that. That's valuable time. Don't get fired if you're past your lunchtime watching the video. So we're a friend of mine, Ernie Gilcrease, the Hot Rod Man. We started building cars together a long time ago. He's not been, he's up in Missouri now, but he wrote these books. Coffee Break Contemplations. I've been ending with these, and it's just little quick sayings that he has. So I just share one of these every time, or and that's it. They're always perfect. They're always good. It's okay to have dreams that are bigger than you, and more friends. The more friends it takes, the more friends it makes. And that's true. Who would have thought? Yeah, I actually thought about this morning as I was finishing one. I get to go road test one. We don't like to give them to our customers as a virgin. We got to get them out there and work them out a bit. So as soon as we're done here, I'm probably going to go road test one. I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at everything. I'm putting the final touches. I was like, my goodness, if I'd have thought how complicated these are when we first started with nothing, I would have never done it. But dream big, and the more friends it takes, for real, the more friends you make. And I am so thankful that I have friends all over the country. I might not see you through the screen. You can see me, but I appreciate your comments, and Raphael, I appreciate your comments for sure. Anyway, we'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye.